Hello and welcome. This is Israel Lopez, and in this video, I want to show you how to install iReport for Fishbowl. Earlier this week, I had conducted my first online training course for SQL, just a Q&A session for people who wanted to learn more about the class and ask some questions. And one of the questions that came up was, I want to start using iReport. And actually, that's not part of the scope of my initial introductory course, so I decided to kind of kick off and make this video ahead of time for when my iReport class does come up and is ready to go. And this is what that's going to be. iReport is going to be a more of a long-term goal for a lot of report writers to get to. And the first step is just to install it and configure it properly for Fishbowl Warehouse and Manufacturing use. All right, so here's what you're going to need. If you're going to be making reports for Fishbowl inventory installations or clients, you really just need to install the Fishbowl inventory server. A lot of people who are inside of companies don't have the Fishbowl inventory server installed on their computer. They just have the client, and I actually recommend them to actually install the Fishbowl inventory server. That way they can test their reports with a copy of their data, possibly, before they upload them for the rest of the company they work with. I don't really see a workflow that works well by messing things with production. Not that it breaks things, but it's a good idea just for you to have your own server ready to go for your own internal testing. Second, you need to download the iReport file for your particular Fishbowl inventory version, and you do need to follow the Fishbowl inventory, Fishbowl Warehouse and Manufacturing wiki that describes how to install iReport properly for Fishbowl. Deviating from those instructions actually will cause the errors that I've seen posted online, things not working with certain error messages. I really implore you to follow the instructions, otherwise you're going to get the errors that you see. And before we start, I want to make sure that people focus on the iReport version that is installed with their system. The wiki includes which versions match which iReport versions match which Fishbowl installations, and I encourage you to make sure you download that exact one. Otherwise, you will have problems with backwards compatibility and things like that. Okay, let's get started. Where you download iReport, actually, I don't recommend installing it from the installer. I prefer to have it separately installed. So you navigate over to the Fishbowl inventory, Fishbowl Warehouse web page where you can download updates and things like that. The iReport link is just down here, and like I mentioned, make sure you download the version for your edition of Fishbowl inventory. 2015, 2014, they're definitely different. I've already downloaded those files, and they're on my folder here. But the next I want to show you before we get too far along is definitely the wiki. Just Google Fishbowl inventory wiki iReport. It'll bring you to this page real quick. We're going to be following the instructions here. I'm not going to actually read through a lot of these because I know them by heart, but definitely go through each step and follow them as long. So as long as you do that, you'll be fine. So since I've already downloaded the the iReport file, just go ahead and run it. While we're talking here, I'm just going to indicate that, here we go. And you definitely need Java installed. So let me go do that, and I'll come back and we'll get this done. Okay, and we're back. I went ahead and installed Java 8, the latest Java version available for Windows systems. And the installer should work just fine now. Make sure you go through the wizard prompts. It's a pretty straightforward wizard. One more thing. I usually like to suffix the folder that the iReport will be installed under with the version that we're installing, and you can kind of see that through the title here, 5.1.0. It's not necessary for you to put the dots or the periods. Just put the numbers here to differentiate different versions, because I have 4 different versions of iReport installed on my system. This is just kind of best practice. And same here. Let that install. There might be an issue in newer versions of Java where iReport may not be working quite right for Java and Java 8. Right now, we're going to give this a shot and see how it works. Otherwise, I might have to just recut this video, fixing that or instructing how that might work. And this is not necessarily an iReport thing or a Fishbowl thing. It's a Java thing that causes problems. and welcome to the world of programming. All right, iReport's installed. If I go ahead and pull it up, thankfully it runs just fine. The first startup should take a little bit. Or not. And this is where probably fixing iReport with Java 8 will be important. So give me a second to figure that out. Okay, sometimes my videos don't always go so well, and this is why we have the pause button. So what's happening is the latest secure version of Java is Java 8, and iReport does not work with Java 8 currently. So the best way to fix it is to tell iReport to use Fishbowl's Java version, and Fishbowl does install the right version that's necessary for that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and tell iReport to do that. And now you're going to have to follow me with how to make that work. So you're going to need to navigate over to where you installed iReport into the etc folder. There's going to be an iReport configuration file. If you right click and open with Notepad or Notepad++, you're going to want to open that up and edit a line. You're going to want to edit the JDK home entry and make sure you take the hash mark out of in front of it. And you're going to want to put in the directory of where you have Fishbowl installed, so Fishbowl 2015.5, and you're going to need to append JRE to the end of that. And if everything goes right, then we should be able to run iReport without issue. Now we do. And if you have problems editing that file, I definitely understand that could happen. You may need to right click on that report configuration file, go to properties, go to security, click on your user or users or your system, click on edit, and make sure you click on users once more time, click on modify, and click on write as checkbox to allow. And then you should be able to save using Notepad or Notepad++ your changes. Otherwise, you have to open up the programs as administrator mode and make those changes. Not the best thing to do in the world, but in order for you to access iReport on the latest and greatest software and have a secure system and be able to open this is the steps you have to do. Again, welcome to programming. What the next part you're going to do is configure iReport for Fishbowl. Now, this is the typical default installation of iReport. It's not going to have all the things ready for our Fishbowl just yet. And what we need to do now is set up the class path, the database, and hopefully when that's done, we'll be able to edit some things in iReport. Let's get started. So we're going to go to Tools, Options. Once that loads, we're going to go to the Class Path tab, and then we're going to click on Add Jar. We're going to navigate over to Fishbowl. Go to the lib folder, and then we're going to select all of it and click on Open. You should see the list update, and then we're going to click OK. Next is where we're really going to need to follow the instructions from the wiki. And I really encourage you to follow the instructions in the wiki, and let me do that myself. So we're going to go over to iReport, wiki. We're going to scroll down past the class path section, steps 1, 2, and 3, and to the connect to a database section. Next is we're going to go ahead and go to the JDBC step. Click on next. Make sure we selected that. Yep, we did. And we're going to need a copy and paste. And I really implore you to copy and paste this information. We're going to do the JDBC driver. We're going to paste that in here. Even though it's a drop-down option, you can change it. We're going to copy this path here. And we're going to paste it here. But the difference is, I know I have a Fishbowl directory called Fishbowl 2015.5, and that's where that's going to be. And the credentials, that's going to be gone phishing. And if you've seen my other YouTube videos on databases, you'll know that that's the default password for read-only access in Fishbowl. Save password and give it a name. Then click on Test. And if everything was successful, you'll have a great connection. And that's it. And then this is why we want to install the iReport Fishbowl server, is because we actually want to open some iReport files. And you can't really get to that if you just have the client. So we're going to go to this PC, C drive, program files, Fishbowl, server, reports, and now this is all the reports that are in the Fishbowl inventory system for you to navigate to and look at. Let's take a look at part ABC report. That's probably very simple for us to look at. And there we are. That's it. About 10 minutes. It's not necessarily the easiest process to get through. Some of the information has been outdated or outmoded for Windows 8 and Java 8, 8.1 and Java 8. So you do have to, tweak systems to make them work. But definitely, it's possible for you to open and edit the iReport files for Fishbowl, so you can make your own changes. Now, after this, I recommend you to watch my crash course in iReport to learn a little more about what's going on here. But remember, I don't have a lot of time to necessarily put too much into this. This is going to be a separate course that I want people to follow and subscribe to. So when we get to that point, I'll be letting you guys know when that's available. This is it. Thank you and have a good day.